six-winged humanoid reports in the Chicagoland area.
Interesting.
How about that?
And normally this time of year, this type of reports don't happen. So, is kind of scary what's going on, especially before Christmas. Anyway, we're going to be back in about 3.5 minutes, and then we're going to go into the news, and then Rob will be on. So stay tuned. And by the way, our second guest tonight, we're going to be talking about what it's like to make a fan base movie or show of Star Trek. So we got all that coming up on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark.
You thirst for some significance of the both dimensional kind. You enter a realm of spirit, of sight and sound and mind. Your radio is a cosmic doorway and your psyche begins to spark. When you tune in to Gary and the Sun and Night Dreams After Dark.
Night Dreams Talk Radio Network brings you the World Paranormal News with James Creechbaum. Now, the latest news.
I'm James Creechbaum with the Paranormal and World Changes News. A little follow-up on the Oregon fireball. It's still being investigated. Again, it was not a meteorite. Some think it was a UFO crash. There was no plane crash. They're still investigating it. They don't know what it is, but there is. Somebody did get pictures of it, and it was very compelling pictures, I must say. Now, NASA. Well, you know how they do. NASA suspended a live feed after several UFOs were observed near the ISS. NASA interrupted a live feed from ISIS when a camera on board spotted a fleet of spacecraft moving in a coordinated fashion. The video shows a fleet of spherical objects moving through the darkness of the space in a coordinated manner. When the strange objects became more than visible, the transmission was interrupted by NASA and replaced it with images from a flight control center. Now, we've been down that road before with ISIS and NASA, and every time something comes a little questionable, it's such a coincidence. Things happen. But anyway, apocalyptic asteroid strike that could wipe out humanity is always a fear. Now, it's just a matter. Some scientists say it's just when they're right. It's just a matter of time that when these things are going to hit. It's not a matter of if, it's when. Astronomers are currently tracking nearly 2,000 asteroids, comets, and other objects that threaten the Earth. And new ones are found every day. Earth hasn't seen an asteroid or apocalyptic scale since the space rock that wiped out the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. However, smaller objects still capable of flattening an entire city crash into Earth every so often. One, a few hundred meters across, that devastated 800 square miles of forest in the Tunguska, Siberia, on June 30th, 1908, is just one example. Again, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Mad scientists and metamaterials. Well, alien metamaterials, which are currently in the hands of Tom DeLonge, to the Stars Academy of Artists in Sciences. The samples were sold to TTSA by UFO researcher Linda Moulton Howe, who obtained them from the late radio host Art Bell. There are a number of odd stories of near mythic proportions associated with them, and now even the U.S. Army is interested in studying the samples and any unusual properties they may possess. Next news break, top of the hour.
Coming to you from some far point station, like a cosmic tumbleweed, both north and south of the Pleiades. Here's your host, Gary Anderson.
And here I am. Well, let's get our guest on here. So let's do that now, and then we will get into a lot about aliens and abductions and all that stuff. So let's get him on the line here. Anyway, you're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark with me, Gary, and James Chrisbaum. Check out our website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. And we should have Rob on the line right as we speak. Hi, Rob.
Hi, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Not too bad at all. Another cool evening here in North Carolina.
Well, how cold are you? I know here it is so cold now that in my house...
Cold is it?
Well, I don't know how cold it is. I know outside it's like freezing and everything is like icy. But I'll tell you what, it's been this way for the last 2 weeks, and I can't keep my house warm.
And where are you located?
Washington State.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Actually, I never thought of Washington State as getting that cold. Snow, yes, because of all the rain you get and it turns to snow, but I never thought of it as being a particularly freezing state.
Yeah, well, it gets that way. Yeah, it's off and on. We don't get a lot of snow around the Seattle-Tacoma area. You know, the other side of the mountains, they get a lot of snow. But, this year, I think because Earth changes, it's affecting the country different everywhere, if you haven't noticed.
Grand solar minimum may be causing that?
I have no idea, but it's scary. I think it's going to get worse. I was reading a report today in Antarctica. It's just like melting like you wouldn't believe. Now they're really getting concerned because they were saying like 2040, 2050. Now they're saying 2030. Pretty soon it's going to be 2020. Who knows? Or 2025 or something. You know, it's really, speeding up more than they even predicted and what the computer said.
Yes, it's going faster than they thought, and that bodes very ill for the rest of us, doesn't it?
Well, it doesn't make me happy. Again, depending on where you live in North Carolina, you'll be fine unless you live on the coast.
No, I don't, but eventually I should be.
You could be, yes. That's where I'm at, I'm lucky. I'm up on a hill. It overlooks the water. It comes in. We have the naval Bremerton, ship, base for the Navy is there. We have Bangor Navy submarine base, like 10 miles from me. But I'm up high enough where if something comes up, unless it's about a 2 mile, wave, I'm fine. I just might have beachfront, property.
Yeah, you might. Nevada might have it too if California goes. Actually, I went to the University of Victoria, British Columbia, on Vancouver Island, so I know the area fairly well.
Oh, yeah. Vancouver Island, I love that place. You know that. Beautiful.
Oh, it's great. They do roll the sidewalks up at 9 o'clock, but other than that, Victoria was a lovely city. So, but I mean, if you came out of the movie theater at 9:30, 10 o'clock, I mean, it was absolutely dead. It wasn't like you could go to a restaurant or cafe on a weekday night. I mean, they closed. During tourist season, they're open, but in winter, it's a dark and cold, gloomy place.
Oh, yeah.
But I loved it. I loved Butchart Gardens. I loved the whole area.
I like the wax museum they have there.
Yeah, they have quite a bit, actually. I used to go to the Empress Hotel on Sundays for high tea with my aunt and uncle. I mean, the Parliament buildings are beautiful. Victoria is about the quaintest city I think there is in North America.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that. Now, why don't you tell the listeners, I know you've been on several times, but, I just got a report on our show of listeners of Western Europe. Am I right, James?
Yes, that was Western Europe. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, I mean, even in Western Europe, it fluctuates each show between 38,000 down to, depending on who the guest and what time of the month it is, down to 19,000 per show listening to me. And that, is pretty good when you're considering they have to understand English to, know what we're talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
And not only that, but it's at odd hours, because when you're on live, they're like 6-7 hours difference. So that, again, that's pretty big numbers.
Yeah, because Great Britain is 5 hours difference between where I live in North Carolina and there, and so it'd be another 3 hours, 8 hours difference between you and them. So if you're on at 7 in the evening in California, I mean, it's like really early in the morning there. What is it, like 2, 3? I can't count. I'm not a mathematician. Physics, I know. Mathematics, like adding and subtracting and dividing, I always have had a hard time with.
That's where calculators come in handy. But you know what? I couldn't figure out, maybe 6 months ago, I get a phone call from a radio station in Spain at 6 o'clock my time in the morning, and they want to interview me on some show. And I only can speak English. Canadian, and so they interview me.
You call that English?
Yeah, I guess. I'm not sure. But, they interview me, and then the guy goes, in Spain, your show is one of the top paranormal U.S. Radio shows that we listen to over here. I was in totally shock. And I didn't even really believe it. I thought maybe the guy was a fruitcake, and he just happened to find it and liked it. But yesterday, one of my listeners told me, hey, go to this link for an app, and it covers, just one app. That doesn't cover all the other apps in Europe. But there's one app, I guess is very popular over there, gave me the link. I went on it, and I was shocked with how many people listen to this show, listening about UFOs and listening to you and me and all this stuff.
So were you flattered? You should have been.
Well, it made me feel good for about 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, it does pass quickly. I just had a fan that wants to start a fan club for me, and then for about 5 minutes I thought, oh, that's really great. I'm finally getting well-known enough to have a fan club. And I thought, and then right away it's like, well, send all the pictures and info you have. And I thought, oh, okay, more work.
Yeah. Well, people don't realize, I'm sure you are the same way, writing books, getting on different radio shows, traveling, all this stuff. Like me, I normally, after the show's off, I'm here another 3-4 hours answering emails. I answer everybody it sends me. If they take the time to send me an email about something, I take the time to respond. So that's 3-4 hours every night. I get up on the average around 9 o'clock my time in the morning, and then I'm here, to like 2-3 o'clock in the morning in my studio doing
long hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Those are definitely long hours. Yeah, there's a lot of work involved that people don't realize. And promotion, it can be very time-consuming. It really can, for your radio station and for my books. But, it's all part and parcel of the business. And I do like sharing, so I guess I can't complain too much about it. I mean, honestly, how can you complain when you're getting that many people listening into your show, right?
I don't know. I remember one time when I only had 15 people. And, I told Art Bell, I said, hey, Art, I don't know if I should have came back into radio. And he said, just give it time, Gary, give it time. Well, I gave it time, and now I'm up to 16. But anyway, Rob, you wrote a whole bunch of books, and what I want to talk about is alien abductions, UFOs, and why are they abducting people when this has been going on for centuries and thousands of years of people being abducted and experimented on? I mean, why would they still continue?
That's the big question, and that's the haunting question. Over 1 million people in the United States claim to have been abducted. Some of the cases are pretty darn convincing, too. But not only have they been abducted, people have been disappeared permanently in the tens of thousands annually from countries around the world.